going on, my Super Sandwiches? Rhymestyle here, and today I'm joined by the original crew. Well, almost original crew. We're missing Kwame, who is nowhere to be found right now. It's a big shout to him. But we got Kwame, Blackenfist, Thundershot, minus Kwame, and myself. And today we're going to be discussing the worst Dragon Ball Z fan theories. And since the theories, you know what it's called, worst Dragon Ball theories, because Dragon Ball Super has spawned a lot of terrible theories as well, which we'll discuss later in this video. But essentially, the whole idea of this video is to talk about basically everything that fans have created over the last like 20 years or so. And what your least favorite is, what the worst is, just drop it in the comment section below what you dislike the most. But how about we start with Thundershot on what do you dislike the worst, or what's the worst fan theory out there that exists in the Dragon Ball world?
I know you said you were going to talk, before we started, you said you were going to talk about Broly, but I too share a hatred for Broly, and there's so many out there, and then like the main one that always gets me, that I always feel free that like if I see this on social media, YouTube comment sections, anything, I feel like I either ignore that person for the rest of my life or I have to shoot it down instantly. The Broly is stronger than insert anybody here theory. Because Broly's ki is infinite, and that's the worst thing I've ever heard, or because Broly's ki is always growing, because ki does not in any sense directly translate to power necessarily. Android 17 and 18 apparently had unlimited ki, and look at how that turned out, but it's just that's one of those things, like I get triggered when people start
let's
talking
actually
about...
talk about that for a second, because that actual line is like the most famous Broly line of all time, but it's also a mistranslation. Blackenfist, do you know the actual translation for that? Do you remember that?
No, I do not. But
it's actually,
all I know is it has been misused. I just don't remember what it actually was.
So the actual translation is, it's not that his ki is growing, his ki is overflowing. And that got translated to his ki is always growing, because of that, a lot of people always assume that Broly just naturally gets strong by just existing, which is completely false. His power is overflowing, meaning his body can't handle it. And actually, the reason why he gets defeated by Goku in the movie is because his power has gotten to the point where it's just overflowing so much. When Goku hit him in his weak spot, his ki essentially exploded inside of him, which ended up killing him. So that's what that actually means. It doesn't actually mean that he is, just getting stronger over time, and at this point he can basically beat Beerus, which is one of the most ridiculous one, which is what I was going to talk about. Is I too want to jump on the anything Broly DBZ fan theories, because it's ridiculous. Broly can't beat Beerus. He can't. He's not in Universe 6. He's not going to be in Dragon Ball Super. And I know Broly fans love him, but let's be real here. He's not that great of a character. He's cool because he's powerful, but on top of that, he's not really that powerful because he got defeated numerous times in the series. But go ahead, Thundershot, keep going. I just want to kind of toss that out there to end that speculation, rumor, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, bottom line, Broly is not stronger than Beerus or a Super Saiyan God Super Saiyan or anything like that. If Super Saiyan God exists, Super Saiyan Blue exists, if they ever make a Super Saiyan 3, that doesn't mean that that's what Broly was, for the love of God. Or if they ever make a Super Saiyan Green, that doesn't mean that's what Broly was, for the love of God. And then also another one that I hear is a much more complicated topic, really, but Future Trunks and his timeline, because Future Trunks has a different timeline, because there has to be multiple different timelines for the Cell Saga to exist. That means that there has to be some timeline where Broly exists and he can still be canon. Fuck that, that's not true either. That's my other one.
Well, I just want to say, by that logic, anything can be, legitimate if you really think about it.
Yeah, by that logic, there's a timeline where Yamcha is above and beyond the strongest being in the universe.
Yeah, pretty much Yamcha beats Beerus.
A lot of people are hoping that Universe 6 is the GT world, GT universe. Again, that's also a fan theory. It doesn't really make any sense, and we're just going to shoot that down right now. Toriyama has probably zero plans to do that. It'd be weird if he does, but I'm pretty confident about my word when I say I doubt we will see a GT in Universe 6, and I doubt we'll even see any characters come back in Universe 6.
That actually sounds really cool, but why would he erase GT just to remake GT? That's what doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Blackenfist, what about you? What's your least favorite Dragon Ball Z fan theory, or Dragon Ball fan theory in existence?
Well, one that came to mind that was fairly recent, I found it pretty amusing, was the one where there was that screenshot that was just rolling around in all the Dragon Ball circles of all these villains that were supposed to be in Dragon Ball Super that were apparently based on the Backyardigans, some Nick Jr. show, and people thought this was legitimate. So I found that pretty amusing. But I guess you could say the one theory that has always, of all time, that has always irked me was the one that Tapion gave Future Trunks his sword. I did a video about this, but I always found this to be extremely annoying, because I felt like if you just put a little bit of thought into it, you would quickly find out that this is impossible. I mean, the fact that Tapion is not even... I mean, okay, let's ignore the fact the movie is not supposed to be canon, but even if it was, Tapion's not in the right timeline. There's problems with time placements. There's problems with the fact that if Hirudegan is there, he would have probably have wiped the whole planet out because no one could have stopped him. So if you think about it, this theory does not make sense. And then, of course, there's the fact that Trunks' sword, the biggest one, that Trunks' sword broke on Android 18's arm while Tapion... Exactly. Hirudegan's... I mean, not Tapion's sword cleaves straight through Hirudegan without a nick. Hirudegan is several magnitude times more powerful than the androids. So there's... I mean, like I said before, if you think about it, it doesn't make sense. The sword, obviously, these are two different swords. Obviously, it was just a nod to the fans. You know, it was almost like maybe it was just kind of like an Easter egg of sorts, not meant to be taken like this is what was supposed to happen.
More of a hey, this Trunks gets a sword too thing. Yeah.
Plot twist. Universe 6, Tapion gives Trunks a sword. No, actually, I'm glad you said that. And before we move on to the next fan theory, I want to ask you: where do you think Trunks actually did get a sword from?
Well,
there's really only two options here.
Well, I mean, I could go back to one thing I do want to say about the whole Tapion thing. Like, if you really, really want to accept the Tapion thing, I mean, it could explain how the Trunks in GT got a sword, because that Trunks is different, and it would line up with the timeline. Now, as for the future Trunks, the one that we always are discussing about, the future Trunks that came back to the past, I mean, there's a whole bunch of speculation. We don't know. Maybe Gohan gave it to him. Maybe maybe his mom made it for him.
Maybe Piccolo made it appear out of nowhere, like he did for
Exactly. Maybe Piccolo. Well, there is a problem with that. Piccolo did die, but who knows? Maybe he made it before he died. That could be a possibility.
I always like to believe that Gohan gave him the sword, because if you go back to the Saiyan saga, it was Piccolo that gave Gohan a sword when he was training him. So that's the theory that always fit best to me, but it definitely wasn't
that's Gohan's sword from the Saiyan saga?
No, they're clearly different.
I was gonna say, because that's a little baby sword. I don't know if that works.
No,
it's definitely a different sword. Maybe he got it throughout his journey while finding androids or something, and kind of passed it down to here, bro, you use this now. You need this, or something like that. Now, actually, even though I said I was going to talk about Broly anything is the worst fan theory to me. I'm actually going to go back even further to after Dragon Ball GT ended, and I'm going to say Super Saiyan 5 is my least favorite, just because, I mean, for starters, I never liked the whole long hair Super Saiyan stuff. I thought Super Saiyan was kind of stupid, and when Super Saiyan 5 was revealed in the fan universe, I just thought it was stupid. Like, it had the white hair and everything. The transformation didn't really make any sense, and it's just... Between Super Saiyan 5 and Super Saiyan 4, Super Saiyan 4 looked a whole lot better, and then Super Saiyan 5 was just why that? And I gotta go with that one. That's probably my least favorite. What do you guys think about that one?
Super Saiyan 5 always looked like a hybrid between Super Saiyan 3 and 4 on it. It kind of with pretty much silver hair or gray hair.
You can find videos of all the way through Super Saiyan 20 where people have gone in, and what they'll do is they'll just recolor the current Super Saiyan. So Super Saiyan 16 would be Super Saiyan 3, but with Super Saiyan 4's body and blue hair instead, and all this that. It gets really out there with some of those next Super Saiyan level theories.
Well, I mean, the theory that did grasp the fandom for a long time, it's not so much anymore, but, back in the early 90s, and especially throughout most of the early 2000s and even mid-2000s, Dragon Ball AF was a theory that was there were for so many years. It persisted, people thinking that it was real, that it was coming out, even in Japan. I believe, I'm not sure, but I do believe that the theory actually started in Japan and then just went overseas. So that theory, although it's not persistent anymore, it probably is it probably would hold the record for the Dragon Ball theory that has the most time in the spotlight, because that thing was in the spotlight for almost a decade.
I would say the one that most people believed in for a short amount of time, at least, too.
I feel like I saw Dragon Ball AF questions up until Dragon Ball Super was announced. So yeah, it's definitely by far the longest lasting theory of all. I remember the first time I saw Dragon Ball AF, how excited I was. I was like, oh snap, Dragon Ball's come back. And then it just never happened. And that probably makes me hate that theory even more.
Who announced AF? Was that some fan write-up thing that announced AF? Or did they actually announce AF as the April Fool's joke? Or did we have the origin on it?
Well, Well, Kanzenshuu did do its own April Fool's thing for AF, but the thing is, when Kanzenshuu did it, AF was already a thing. It had already been persistent throughout the community. That's why so many people bought it when Kanzenshuu did it. But I don't know the origins right now because it's been years since I read the origins of AF. But apparently, it can be attributed to some fan work of a fan in Japan. And some speculate that this fan has actually gotten a job at Toei and is currently doing the Dragon Ball Super manga.
That's
or
funny.
at least that's what some of the Kanzenshuu guys are saying.
That's funny. What's another bad one that we had? I think we pretty much covered all the good main ones. Also Bardock coming back in Dragon Ball Super. That's another ridiculous one.
Anything Bardock is a little ridiculous. Bardock Super Saiyan is ridiculous. But
I love Bardock, don't get me wrong, but he's not going to come back. Again, Toriyama has already kind of stated that his plans for Dragon Ball Super's next arc, the Champ arc, is to introduce a lot of new characters. Why would he show the old characters? It wouldn't make sense.
Also, he's dead, but...
Yeah, and he's dead.
Also, I mean, the thing is, I mean, if anyone, I mean, Goku's mother is presumed to be dead, but she's not confirmed to be dead. So, you know, if anyone's coming back, it's probably Goku's mother. But Bardock, it seems, ever since I think the episode of Bardock thing, has become like almost a new Broly, because people are like, oh... Bardock's the original Super Saiyan. Bardock maybe can come back. Bardock maybe Bardock fights this, and what if he? So I feel like in a way it's not as bad as Broly, but Bardock has gotten to a point where some fans, I feel like the fans are treating him kind of like Broly again. Although I like Bardock, don't get me wrong, I absolutely like Bardock.
You know what's funny about going off the whole Bardock is still alive theory is it's like, well, Bardock got sent back to the past and became a Super Saiyan. Rhymestyle, Blackenfist, Thundershot. What happened to him next? Well, it's like, well, even if he was alive, even if that was actually what happened to him.
Number one, that didn't happen.
It didn't happen. Yeah,
it didn't make sense either.
If it did happen, he got sent back at least like 1,000 years. So I'm pretty sure he died over old age, maybe.
Yes.
But like, okay, he didn't get like a power of time travel and stuff. So with that said, we most likely will not see Bardock and stuff. But I mean, we want to hear from you guys. What are your least favorite, the worst theories out there that you've seen in the entire existence of Dragon Ball? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below.
Hold on, wait. I googled just for shits and gigs. I googled a bad Dragon Ball Z fan theories while we were doing this video, and I found one that I don't know if you guys have heard, but it might interest you. That Bulma's mom is actually an android made by Dr. Brief.
I've never heard that one.
Yeah, because she's supposed to be pushing 70 during the Majin Buu saga, but she still looks really young. So the theory is that at some point in time, he operated on her to keep her young forever.
Well, let me tell you guys a quick tip. When you're
she is a billionaire.
When you're rich, you tend to live for a very long time. That's why if you look at people like Pharrell, for example, who he's a hip hop artist. Pharrell has existed like for 400 years now. You can find the pictures. Like look up Pharrell vampire. Or who else is another vampire? Nicolas Cage is a vampire. There's like a bunch of funny like celebrity fan theories that people created where it's like so and so is a vampire because they existed a long time ago. So look up
Neo.
Yeah, Neo. Look up Pharrell vampire, Neo vampire, and you'll just for shits and gigs laugh and enjoy that. But I think we pretty much covered a good amount of fan theories, so I guess we're gonna hear from you guys now. So let us know your thoughts in the comment section below, or what are the worst Dragon Ball fan theories that you've come across, the most ridiculous ones, and maybe ones that you believe. How about that? Like, what's one that you really believe in? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. Blackenfist, Thundershot, anything else?
I'm good.
No, I think you cover all the bases, man.
All right, gentlemen. Well, with that said, we hope you guys enjoyed today's discussion. Leave a like rating below if you did. Check out Blackfist and Thundershot in the description below. And we'll see all you amazing people, hopefully next time with Kwame. Hopefully he'll be around and stuff. But we'll see you guys in the comment section below.